Nope. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is, I may be homeless, but my name is Shelby, and I really wanted to get this video done today because it is very important to me. Hopefully you'll understand why here in a minute. Today I want to talk about a few things, but I want to just say today I want to talk about how you can help, whether that's you personally, or you know, just by passing this information along to others. Yeah, so I want to talk about that. I'm sorry about my hair. I thought it would be a good idea to cut it today. Unfortunately, the day shelter that I went to, the trimmers didn't really work, and this went for the most part fine. Then the rest of it was a nightmare. I'm going to take my own back with me and just donate it tomorrow. If I have it, it might be back at that house. But as soon as I get it, I'm donating it because mine still works. It needs oiled. The one today. But anyway, so, but I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not that self-conscious. So I wanted to say a few things before I begin that came to mind today. So the first thing I want to say is, do not dox me. Do not try to dox my children. This is out there to the people that do that kind of thing. Do not do that. I know people that know how to find people, and I will put an end to it. I'm a very smart man myself. I'm very tech savvy. If you are doing things on this channel, if I will delete them to begin with, but not after it's taken care of, because really we can be civil with each other. We do not have to agree 100%. We just need to know that together that this is something that we need to address. And we can agree to disagree and be civil here and in society. I think that's a big problem going on right now. We want to label somebody else, and that's a terrible way to live and have relationships. If you agree, then please share that. If you disagree, please share that. But let's keep it civil. This is a discussion for me. So I want to get back to how you can help. Before I go on, to the homeless community out there, and everybody. I think I already said it. I'm out in Forest Grove. This is a wonderful place. People out here are wonderful, amazing. I got a dear friend. She gave me almost $15 in cans today. That made my day. And people out here, even if they don't know people, help people out. This is a wonderful place. So, you know, to the homeless people out there, if you're struggling to find a good place to stay, it's not that I really want to see Forest Grove overwhelmed, but the homeless people out here are just some of the nicest people as well. Most people, you know, nobody's perfect. But if you look at downtown Portland, Seattle, and other major cities, homeless people there a lot of them are just terrible people, unfortunately. And that's a sad thing. And we don't want that out here. The community doesn't want that out here. And if you bring that kind of thing out here, violence, drugs, whatever, they will not accept you and they will push you out. This is a strong community. So let's keep it nice on the streets if we can for everybody. But if you can't live where you want to live, then maybe you should find a better place to live. I know a lot of friends who, well, they just don't want to be on the street, period, and so they don't even want to be out here in this area. It's not the prettiest thing in the world still, don't get me wrong. Anyway, but back to the topic of today. I'm sorry, and I also wanted to touch on the last video a little bit today as well, while I have time. And I'm sorry this is so late, sun. I don't have the greatest light, but this is important. One of the other reasons I wanted to do this is because in the homeless community, you feel all the time like you are alone. You have friends, but you lose contact with friends, and that is just the worst thing. And right now I have the power I think, with this channel, even though it's very tiny right now, to reach out to friends and make contact with them through this. And to that, anybody out there, if you know how to get in touch with my friend Larry, and you know who he is, if you know who he is, please help him get in contact with me, because it has been so long and I want to see him and talk with him. And I hope he's doing well. Okay, so now on to this. So personally, everyone in the community can help. Like I said, I had a friend today give me cans. Most people don't take their cans back. We all know it. There's still a lot of cans being thrown in the trash. Now that kind of helps us, but for me personally and a lot of people, we don't want to go searching through garbage cans. It's unsanitary and unsafe. You never know what's in there. Broken glass maybe, a needle, things that you don't want to poke your fingers with or get on you that are disgusting and make you sick. So that for me, it's a concern. For some people, they're just so destitute that they'll do it anyway. But, put your cans in the recycle. Put them on top in a paper bag. Sorry, not plastic. In a paper bag. Or if you do plastic, make it one of those nice sturdy bags. Those are very helpful out here. There's a lot of things that are helpful out here besides food and clothing. If you have clothing that you can donate, take it to a shelter. Not that I don't want to see you giving it to Goodwill, because Goodwill does a lot of goodwill. But take it to a shelter. There are day shelters out there. There are family shelters out there. There's Community Action, which is an organization here in the Portland metro area that helps with certain things like that, hooking people up with resources, or at least they try to. There are other ways you can help. If you're a big and tall man, and you have a lot, I'm sorry, let me do it this way. If you're a big and tall man, there are a lot of people out here that are over 6 foot tall. They can't find clothes in these shelters a lot of the time, because most of the clothes we get are for average people or maybe plus size people, but not tall people necessarily. I'm talking, I can't even show on here. Doing this on a phone and things happen. But it's all right. I needed to light my cigarette anyway. But there's a thought. There's a lot of people out there. We all know it on the streets that just go out and buy clothes and donate them. And we thank you very much. But we're not asking for that. Please try to give clothes that are in good condition. But we're destitute. Sometimes we'll take anything. Seriously. I've seen people pull raggedy jeans out because, well, the ones they had were less or more ragged. But please, if possible, try to give good quality items. Don't empty your closet or anything unless you really want to. Another thing, food. Food always helps. But lately I've been seeing food that is half open, even half eaten. And that's just not healthy for anybody. If it's not something that's supposed to be shared like that, with your neighbor, please, there's cheap food out there that we appreciate. You can volunteer. Not everybody can volunteer. Not everybody's built for it. If you find that you have a chip on your shoulder, please don't do that. There's a lot of people out here that would set off very, very quickly, and sometimes in really bad ways. So just know yourself. If you have the heart and patience, because sometimes you have a temper and you still have a big heart. I'm sure. I hope that some people out there just can describe me as that way or better. But yeah, volunteer work. Maybe volunteer to help bring food to people. Things like that. If you have an old tent, old sleeping bag, before you throw it out, think about it. Is it something somebody on the street might be able to use? Maybe. But again, anything helps. So that's one of the big ones, is everybody can do something. Another way you can help is by sharing the information that you find here. The more people that know, the better. It's just not this is just not a great place to be for most people. But we out here want it to be, for the most part. I know I do. And most of the people that I know do. I mean, I'll tell you, I've never been good with names, and I am good with names now. I guess getting sober, maybe. But yeah, I know probably 36 or more people by name, and can call more than half of them friends. So and a lot of them don't have that outside of this community. I'm very fortunate that to have those friends, and that are close to the community. But I also have my kids. Some of these people don't even have their kids talking with them, and maybe that's their fault. Probably is, like it is with me. But if you know somebody that's your brother, your sister, your cousin, uncle, it goes a long way for somebody's mindset to know that somebody out there cares about them. Maybe it's somebody you used to know, and you know that they are homeless, and you've been putting off talking with them just because maybe you don't know what to say. Well, we are people. We don't need anything special said to us that anybody else doesn't. So it's just something that people, I hope, start to think about. I'm not asking, nobody's asking that everybody just put all of their time and effort into this. There are already people that do that. There could certainly be more. But, it's the little things in life that really make a difference. I'm going to pause for a second because I had some other ideas here that I'm trying to think of. So bear with me. Okay, so I'll see if I can keep going here. So along the same line of volunteering, there are other ways you can volunteer. There are food banks that need hands to divvy up food boxes. That's a big thing right there. Again, there are people out here to help us with filling out forms and things like that. And there are agencies where you can volunteer to help people do that. Some of these services do require some sort of training or certification, but anything helps. If you can do it, it'd be great. Medical care. We all have OHP, but when you think of medical care and you're donating things, straight to the shelters. Anything that, like Band-Aids, rubbing alcohol, peroxide, insect repellent, bite repel, or a sting remover, that kind of thing helps out here. It's just a matter of life. I mean, if you think about it, if you go camping, you would take a small little medical kit with you. And that's not something everybody has all the time. And they run out because, well, we tend to suffer a lot of injuries that you normally wouldn't when living on the street. Maybe you accidentally bonk your head, cut yourself on a bush because you're out camping in the forest or something. So things like that help as well. But when it all comes down to it, we're all human, and we're all part of this together. And one of the things that really would help the community, everybody with their mindset, their mentality out here on the street, is if people actually showed compassion. Just give a little, how you doing? How's your day to somebody. Now, you might not want to, you may want to be careful with that. Obviously, if somebody's irritable, looks irritable, maybe you might not want to say something. But, if somebody's just looking a little down, and that doesn't have to be somebody who looks like they're homeless. Friend, neighbor, somebody you see on the street, in the store. I do it all the time. I'll walk up to people in the store, and I'll just say, how are you doing today? How's your morning doing? They might look down, and I'll say something like that to them, and then I'll see a smile on somebody's face. And I know, or at least I hope, that I made somebody's day a little better. I don't always do that, but I try to. When I'm down, sometimes I just want to be left alone. But, and everybody's that way. But in general, sometimes we're just screaming inside for somebody to just care about us. And that goes for everybody. And so a little bit of compassion can go a long way. Support this channel. Share it, like I said. Maybe start your own. Whether that's a website with resources that you find in your community that you can put together. There are books, Street Roots, for example, with information about all kinds of resources out there. But they're confusing, and therefore like statewide, and so when you go and try to find information, it can be very difficult to know what you're supposed to do with that information. It's not as simple as call the number. Usually you have to know who to talk to, what kind of information you need to know, and that stuff is not really shared very well with the homeless community. Like I said, I had trouble finding the shelters. It took me 2 whole days. I was on the street for 2 whole days and nights before I was able to find a shelter. And that was only by looking that up on Google. And I found one. And it was sad because when I got there, I found it was the most abysmal place to be. Drug use, fighting. First night I was there, I mentioned it before. So that kind of information, being able to find good places and safe places to sleep, to get food, some of that information we have, and some of it, most all of it, is because we have learned to find these places. One of my favorite sayings right now is, I don't believe there's any other kind of course you can take on homelessness other than a crash course. And so far I have not found a single person living on the street that does not agree with me. Even when you get off the street, you still live with some of this in you. I know people that are still going to shelters but are off the street, but they still need help because they're poor. Just because you get off the street doesn't mean you can afford to do so. That's part of the reason why I'm out here, why I'm going to stay out here for a while, is because I'm not going to be able to get a job that's going to pay me what I used to. Not right off the bat. I have to work from the bottom up, and I'm okay with that. But I have to be able to do what I can do with my health conditions. I've learned that. I can't put my life in jeopardy for any job. My children are more important to me than that. But yeah, so I'm going to have this job at some point, and it's going to pay minimum wage. And, well, for me, I'm not going to get to keep most of that money, and that's fine. But other people don't have that. So if you see somebody on the street, if you can afford it, drop a 5. Maybe even literally drop it in front of them. Some people are so proud that they can't ask for help. You might be surprised. You might hear somebody call you back and let you know that you dropped it. But that can go a long way, and it doesn't have to be money. If you have a half-eaten sandwich. Hunger is a big problem out here. These are things that I'm sure people think of, but maybe they do, maybe they don't do. And it's just little things in life can make a big difference. And, if we can all pull together, maybe we can make this life a lot better. And there are a lot of people out there that have great lives, and that's great. I'm very thankful and happy for people that I like seeing good things happen to people. Now, that said, there are people out here on the street that don't want to be off the street. They don't fit in, but that doesn't mean they don't need help. And I know I would appreciate anybody's help, even if it's not for me. I see other people helping people, and that touches me deeply. And other people see you helping other people, and that touches them, and it makes them want to help. So the more people that do these things, the better. And I hope people are listening, and I hope people brainstorm. Share your own ideas here. You can think of a way to help personally. Or ancillary to this problem. Anything helps. And it is much appreciated by this community out here, including the volunteers. They see it, and they sometimes just cry themselves. So I wanted to share that. It was very important with me. Again, if anybody knows Larry, tall, handsome black man. I love that man. He and I were supposed to keep in contact, and I lost my phones, and I don't have a way to contact him. So if you're out there, look me up, leave a comment here, and say hello, and we can talk directly. And again, I'm going to be interviewing people. There might be people out there that I interview that might want to find family, friends, something. We'll do the same thing for them. So I really enjoyed this video. I've been enjoying all of them. I've been watching some of them over and over and trying to learn new ways of communicating, and try to come up with some very good ideas. I'll share a couple right now. I'm not going to talk about any of these right now, but why have I chosen to be homeless? Apparently I'm out here. Obviously I chose it. I want to talk about that, and I'm going to have other people talk about that. Maybe they haven't chosen it, and maybe they have and they haven't realized it. Maybe that can be a breakthrough during the interviews. Okay, sorry about that. That paused on me. But yeah, some of the other ideas I have is, like I said, why have I chosen to be homeless? And then a day in the life of. I'm going to interview people, and I'm going to ask them the same thing. I'm going to post mine. I'm going to post mine now, and what it was like back in the shelters, because it's very different. It has been very different. And okay, and you know, other things like that. And I'll come up with more ideas, and this will continue to grow. And yeah, and it's been good so far, and I hope people are enjoying it. Tomorrow, hopefully, this is gone. Not wholly, but whatever. And yeah, before I sign off, I wanted to share a quote, I guess, that hopefully is attributed to me. Something I thought of this morning. Stand tall and walk proud. To me, that means stand tall so you can see where you're going. Because if you just hunker down, you'll walk into things blind. And walk proud. Be happy with your works. If what you are doing is making you happy and you know it's the right thing to do, then walk proud. And with that, I will sign off and say goodbye. It has been a treat. And as always, take care and have a great day. Thank you very much.